thanks to Dr. Siddhartha Chatterjee, who personally called me to take part in this debate, and that too against an expert like Subhash Da, because we consider Dr. Subhash Haldar as one of the experts in the field of endometriosis surgery, because there are evidences that endometriosis surgery should only be done by the persons who are having adequate training and expertise, which I don't have. Maybe that's why I have been asked to take part against the motion. Now, even if I have expertise, that does not mean that I have to do it, because there is difference between a good surgeon and the best surgeon, and it's only the best person who knows when not to operate. Yes, I don't have any objection against surgery, because yes, surgery improves the pain, and surgery is one of the options in endometriosis infertility, because Shubhaza has rightly pointed out that surgery improves fertility in peritoneal endometriosis, large ovarian endometrioma, and deep endometriosis. So please make it very clear that I am not against surgery, but I am against the word only. That is, in medicine, there cannot be any word like only. So surgery cannot be the only treatment for endometriosis infertility. Why I am saying this? Let me show some cases. A lady, 32 years, she has been trying for pregnancy for 2 years. All her fertility investigations are normal, but unfortunately, her husband is having severe oligospermia, and they decided for IVF ICSI. During evaluation, you found a 6 centimeter right ovarian endometrioma with minimum dysmenorrhea. I am sure my learned opponent would want to intervene, do the surgical intervention, because there are some studies showing that in presence of endometrioma, the ovarian response is reduced. There is less number of oocyte retrieved, and there is high chance of cycle cancellation during IVF. So, extrapolating these findings, a person who is a lover for laparoscopy would try to explain and justify his reason for doing laparoscopy in this case. But please remember, extrapolation does not hold good in medicine, because medicine is not mathematics. We should not learn medicine from books. We rather need evidence. Evidence has showed that if you do surgery before IVF, it will further lower down the AMH level. And this decline in ovarian reserve is progressive. It's not limited only to the immediate postoperative period. And there is, on the other hand, high gonadotropin consumption, which can be translated into higher cost and lower number of oocytes retrieved. As a result, I am showing the same guideline which my learned opponent had quoted, that is the ESHRE guideline, which has showed that in presence of male factor, tubal factor, or when all the other treatments have been tried, IVF is the best cost-effective treatment in this case. And in presence of endometrioma, the only indication for surgery before IVF is when there is severe pain, or when you anticipate that there may be difficulty in accessing the follicles. Otherwise, even in large endometrioma, in presence, the IVF can be done in presence of endometrioma. So my learned opponent has quoted a paper published in 2006 that the endometrioma surgery can improve the outcome, but subsequent studies did not find it. Now, yes, my learned opponent has argued that yes, in presence of endometrioma, there may be technical difficulties during ovum pickup. But please remember, the chance of technical difficulties is extremely low and it's less than 1 to 2%. And on the contrary, he has shown a paper published in 2005 or 6, which showed that gonadotropin stimulation can exacerbate the progression of endometriosis. But unfortunately, the recent studies could not find it. And there is no data that surgery will make your pickup procedure easier. And of course, there is chance of infection, but please remember, infection can happen even when there is no endometrioma. So prophylactic antibiotic is recommended, and it's the evidence-based recommendation that whenever you are doing ovum pickup in presence of endometrioma, give antibiotic prophylaxis. And there is no evidence that high estrogenic condition because of gonadotropin stimulation or because of insertion of needle in the ovary during ovum pickup will cause exacerbation or progression of endometriosis. Now, Shubhaza nicely mentioned about the risk of malignancy, but please remember, even in large endometrioma, the risk of malignancy is extremely low, is less than 1 to 2%. So the RCOG in 2017 recommended that in the fertility context, it's better to allow the woman to complete the childbearing and then go for surgical intervention, unless there is any immediate concern that is evident radiologically or clinically. So chance of missing malignancy is extremely low. So in this case, when there is endometrioma and you are planning for IVF, directly going for IVF is the best treatment option when the woman is asymptomatic, when the woman belongs to advanced reproductive age, there is reduced ovarian reserve, bilateral endometrioma, and when she already underwent an ovarian surgery before. However, as I said, I am not against surgery. So surgery before IVF should be considered only when the woman is highly symptomatic. That is, she is having severe pain, there is intact ovarian reserve, unilateral and large cysts, and particularly cysts with suspicious clinical or radiological features. Otherwise, not. Now, he has mentioned that yes, endometriosis can be a cause of IVF failure, particularly in recurrent implantation failure. Undetected endometriosis may be one of the reasons. Plus, please remember, main reason for IVF failure in this case is altered endometrial receptivity. It's not corrected by surgery often. And even if you think that you can do surgery to detect the undiagnosed endometriosis in recurrent implantation failure, the ASRM studies published in 2012 showed that you have to perform at least 40 laparoscopy to get one pregnancy, which I think is not at all cost effective. On the other hand, an interesting RCT published in Gynecological Endocrinology in 2018, they showed that suppose you are dealing with a lady with recurrent implantation failure and you are suspecting endometriosis and she did not have any surgical evidence of endometriosis, that is, this lady did not undergo laparoscopy. In this case, better to treat her as having endometriosis, that is, downregulate her before embryo transfer with GnRH agonist and letrozole, and it will significantly improve the pregnancy rate. So, the blind dictum that medical therapy is not useful in endometriosis infertility does not always hold good, because it is established that before IVF, if you do medical treatment in the form of GnRH agonist therapy for 3 to 6 months, it will significantly improve the pregnancy rate. And I am sure all of the IVF specialists are practicing this in presence of endometriosis when they are doing the embryo transfer. Now, coming to next case. This lady, 33 years, she has been trying to conceive for 1 year. She is having severe dysmenorrhea and there is 4 centimeter endometrioma. Fertility investigations, all are normal. So as I've said, I'm not against surgery. So I'll refer this patient to Dr. Subhash Haldar for doing the surgery. Now, he has done the surgery in wonderful manner. This lady again returns to you after 4 years. Now she is 37 years old. She has tried all the types of fertility treatment, ovulation induction, IUI, and she's fed up. She now wants to go for IVF. Incidentally, you again found there is 6 centimeter endometrioma and there is dysmenorrhea, but it's well controlled by analgesics. So please remember, anti-inflammatory drug, if it is given at the time of menstruation, it can be one of the treatment options in endometriosis infertility. So always surgery is not needed. And even if you think that you want to put a scope in this lady, please see her AMH, 0.8. So I think you all agree that in this case, directly going for IVF is the best option. Please remember, I'm saying that in this case, IVF is the best option. That does not mean that I'm advocating IVF as only treatment for infertility, because if I say so, it would amount to medical overuse. And ladies and gentlemen, medical overuse is really a matter of concern in the modern era. And over the last decade, lots of publication has been done to address this medical overuse. And in the context of endometriosis, the medical overuse can actually harm the patient by causing bowel, ureter, bladder damage, which can have long-term consequences, and the lady can land up in fistula. And nothing can be more unfortunate than losing the ovary in a lady who has presented to you just for infertility and she's having endometriosis. And please remember, the main drawback of surgery is that already Subhash Das said that endometriosis is a progressive disease, is a progressive inflammatory disease. Surgery cannot reverse the way of inflammation. Now, next case, a lady trying for pregnancy for 1 year. All investigations are normal. Incidentally, there is 2 centimeter. Please remember the size, 2 centimeter endometrioma, and there is no pain. If you want to do surgical intervention in this case, please remember, sometimes we have to learn when not to treat. It has been found that if you do not treat these women, particularly who are young, who are having regular cycles, who are having just incidental finding of endometrioma without any symptoms like pain and without any suspicious features, in this case, if you leave the lady alone, over the period of 6 months, there is 43% chance of spontaneous conception rate, because it has been found that the ovulation rates are similar between the ovaries affected with endometrioma and the ovaries which are not harboring endometrioma. Now, one of the argument in favor of surgery in this case is that this lady is basically having unexplained infertility, and in unexplained infertility, 20 to 40% cases there may be undiagnosed endometriosis, particularly superficial endometriosis. Please remember, this argument is based on the RCT published in NAJM in 1997, not very recent. We all know that this medical disclaimer that has been there in our undergraduate books, that is, medicine is an ever-changing science. So what is true today may prove absolutely wrong tomorrow. And the best example we can see nowadays by the COVID guidelines. You see, all the COVID guidelines are changing very rapidly. As a result, the subsequent RCTs could not establish this finding, and two meta-analyses got some interesting finding. That is, you have to perform laparoscopic fulguration in unexplained infertility for at least 16 to 24 women to get one pregnancy. That is, you have to treat 16 to 24 women to get one pregnancy. On the other hand, if you consider the success rate of IVF as 25%, that is, you need to do IVF for 4 women to get one pregnancy. Now, you tell me which one is more cost effective, surgery or IVF in this case? Of course, my learned opponent has given the logic that in surgery is needed for staging of endometriosis. But remember, staging has its limitation, and staging does not have any prognostic value so far as the fertility is concerned. And endometriosis should be treated based on the symptoms, not based on the staging of the endometriosis. And this Italian group, they published their guideline last year, 2019, in the Human Reproduction Update. And they showed that routine laparoscopy in women who are having otherwise unexplained infertility is not justified just to see and treat the superficial endometriosis. So the only indication of treatment in surgical treatment in superficial endometriosis is that when the lady is having severe, moderate to severe pain, or when you have tried all the other options like ovulation induction, IUI, etc., and still the lady is insisting for natural conception and she does not want to go for IART. Only in that case you can go for surgery. So surgery is not the only option here. Now, deep in endometriosis, I completely agree that painful deep endometriosis only treatment is surgery, but sometimes it can be asymptomatic. It can seem like sonar pathor bati, that is deep endometriosis asymptomatic, but believe me, it can happen, and there are evidences that deep endometriosis can be asymptomatic. So indication of endometriosis, deep endometriosis surgery, when the lady is having otherwise not having any pain, only indication of surgery is that when there is occlusive syndrome, that is ureter obstruction or bowel obstruction. Subhash has nicely mentioned about the hydroureter hydronephrosis. Only in that case surgical intervention is needed, otherwise not, because contrary to our common belief, 9 out of 10 deep infiltrating endometriosis do not progress. Rather, if you do improper resection, improper bowel bladder resection, and you do some nerve injury, you are basically worsening the woman's bladder and bowel symptoms. So again, I repeat, this deep endometriosis, the indication of surgery is whenever there is occlusive symptom, or when the lady is keen to have natural conception. She tried all other options, but she's still keen to have natural conception, and she has declined IVF. Only in that case, surgery can be helpful. So remember, one size does not fit for all. So you have to take care of various factors before saying that it's the only treatment. So in a nutshell, endometriosis should not be treated just it's because they are. Please note, it's not my quote. It's quoted from Thomas, who published their paper in BMJ, British Medical Journal, in 1993. Yes, surgery is one of the treatment modalities in improving pain. Surgery can improve the chance of spontaneous conception, but you have to balance between the potential benefits and the risk, because the primary intention of medicine is do no harm. So surgery cannot be the only treatment, because in medicine, these words like only, never, always cannot exist, because medicine is a science of uncertainty and an art of probability. So I rest my case here. Thank you very much for your patient hearing.
Thank you, Sujoy. Thank you, Sujoy, for beautifully describing your point. The surgery
Thank you,
is
sir.
not the only treatment with infertility. Hello, am I audible? Hello.
Yes, sir.
You are really. You are. Carry on.
So I think is the best person to comment on this thing, Dr. Siddhartha Chatterjee, who does regularly the IVF treatment in surgery and medical, both. I
Best person
request
is
Siddhartha.
sitting there, Professor Chakraborty. Best person. But
You are the
basically, I want to
chairperson,
mention
definitely.
few things. Few things.
Uh,
You mean
Subhas has mentioned one thing very clearly, that in endometriosis there is a biochemical factor, and also Sujoy told that surgery cannot remove it. That is most important. So surgery is there for correction of the anatomical factors. If the anatomical factors are okay, then probably patient can conceive. Now the question is, in case of stage 1 to 2 endometriosis, when the patient is not conceiving, whether surgery helps or medical treatment helps. My personal experience is that if AMH is not too low, treating anti-endometrial treatment for 3 months and then going for ovulation induction gives a good result. I repeat, if the structural relations are good and if the patient is still non-conceiving when we are going to put her under unexplained infertility, in those cases in stage 1 and 2 endometriosis, treating with medical treatment for 3 months and followed by ovulation induction gives good results. It's not surgery. Because I personally believe, and that is also true because we are working on it and we have published some papers, that this cytokine change and inflammatory changes, that is the main factor for infertility. It is not the endometriosis itself, because endometriosis does a lot of problems. Now the question of big endometrioma. In cases of big endometrioma, well, tubes can be pushed aside and thereby it cannot pick the eggs up. And there may be other problems like that, ovum pickup, like all these things can be very dangerous. But basically, if you drain the endometrioma, it's a huge endometrium if you drain, and followed by either IVF or promotion of natural conception after a short period of anti-endometrial treatment, probably that also helps. We are working on it. We have published one paper with 15 cases, where 3 cases has already conceived after a course of Dymagist, after draining the endometrium through skin, percutaneous drainage. We didn't go vaginally because fear of infection. Under ultrasound guidance, we drained them. The largest one was 15 centimeter endometrioma, and that lady is waiting for marriage, and other 3 has conceived, and one of them already miscarried, and 2 pregnancies are continuing. So basically, the treatment of endometriosis, you have to think in different angle nowadays, because we are now going away from surgery. Even in diagnosis, we are not using laparoscopy. We are mostly using on the signs, symptoms of ultrasound for diagnosis of endometriosis. Internationally, the whole paradigm shift is happening. Yes, sir. Your opinion, please. Professor Chakraborty.
I'm Boje. Siddharth, you want me to say something? Hello?
Yes, sir, bolun. Sir, bolun.
Yeah, everybody has said everything. So what I can comment? The only thing that I can say, like you, when I was young,
That's the last word. Sir, you
I
just
was
say the last word.
I was pro-surgical minded. But at the end of the day, I think it is better not to touch the ovary before the lady has conceived. So whatever may be the condition of endometriosis, I think surgery should be avoided, or touching the ovary, I should mean to say particularly, because it always reduces AMH, it always reduces ovarian, except in 4 conditions, I think surgery should be avoided as soon as possible. Number one, the ovarian cyst or the endometrioma is very huge. Size of the endometrium is very huge, so the follicles might be inaccessible. And if you want to do the follicle aspiration through that huge endometrioma, there might be a risk of injury or ovarian abscess. Secondly, when the patient has come with extreme degree of pain and bleeding, irregular bleeding, you cannot control the bleeding either with GnRH analog or with letrozole. Well, in that condition, surgery should be performed. And again, my intention, as I always say, there are 2 types of surgery. One is function restoring surgery. The second one is your. Function. One is function restoring surgery. and one is debulking surgery, making her fit for IVF. That's the only thing that more than that. And third one, presence of hydrosalpinx. There you have to do surgery. And the fourth one, the ovarian reserve must be very, quite satisfactory. And the last one is your, the cyst is big, I have said. The symptoms are very severe. And the third one is presence of hydrosalpinx. And the fourth one, the ovarian reserve must not be very well, very low. Try to avoid surgery as far as possible. So I am now going gradually against surgery. Wherever possible, I try to avoid surgery. And wherever it is not possible, the patient usually comes with severe degree of pain and irregular bleeding. You can't enter into the protocol of IVF without controlling his pain and bleeding. And when you start the treatment protocol, the pain and bleeding increases. In that case, well, my surgeon, he has to adjust the condition and allow me to start IVF. So these are the 4 or 5 conditions where surgery is definitely indicated. Otherwise, there is a relative indication only for surgery. I always, in conclusion, I always say, I always try to avoid even the drilling, ovarian drilling also I don't like to do. I try to avoid touching the ovary before the patient has conceived. So difficult with ovarian reserve, so difficult with their own egg. If you think of the donor egg, it is different. But if you think of your own egg, getting a homologous pregnancy, I think surgery in endometriosis should be done in a small number as that is my at the end of the day. I see. Previously, as Siddhartha knows, as Subhash knows, that I was pro-surgical minded, and I always used to say debulking and function restoring surgery in moderate or severe grade of it. In early endometriosis, of course, surgery can be done. It produces more pregnancy than your conservative treatment, but usually should avoid it because your ovarian reserve will be definitely lower than in any type of cystectomy on the with dermoid cyst will reduce ovarian reserve, but to not that extent as endometriotic cyst dissection is concerned. That's the reason why there is a drastic reduction of the ovarian reserve after surgery, which will follow. These are the reasons why I usually try to avoid touching the ovary before achieving or trying to achieve pregnancy by some other method if possible. Thank you very much for allowing me.
Thank you. So I think it was a very lively debate, and both our speakers did extremely well. And end of the day, the conclusion comes that we are gradually going away from surgery. But surgery is extremely important when it is indicated that you need surgeons like Subhash anyway. So I think we should conclude here. Everybody have same opinion? And let me tell you, the 2 weeks from tomorrow, that is, I think it is the 8th of, it's 7th, 8th of August, Sunday, we are having another session on unexplained infertility with 6 speakers. Different aspects of unexplained infertility. We'll just send you the flyers very shortly. And that is the last episode of our annual program of the Chakraborty School of Fertility Management of Research. And this was the 3rd episode and the 4th episode in unexplained infertility. 6 speakers will be there. Senior and junior speakers will be there. And you listen to them with their opinion about unexplained infertility. Thank you very much. Thank you. Dibyendu, close.
Thank you, sir.
Please.
It's okay. Thank you for your valuable time. So you have come and shared your session. So thank you very much in behalf of Pharma Spectra Division. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Subhash, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Siddhartha, sir.
Thanks, Sadhu.
Thank you, Arup, sir. Thank you.
Hey, Abhi.
Arupda, thank you.
Thank you, Subhash, for good surgery soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Arupda.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Siddhartha.
So Arun.
Thank
Compassion
you.
is the best. There is a good message to the audience actually today. Very good message.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. হ্যাঁ স্যার বিমান চক্রবর্তী স্যার এসেছিলেন তো?
হ্যাঁ, আমরা দেখেছি স্যারকে।
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ
হ্যাঁ স্যার তো করবেন না বললেন।
হ্যাঁ
স্যার
এসেছিলেন স্যার
ছিলেন।
ছিলেন। হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ
গীতাদি কোথায়? গীতাদি?
আমি তাই বিরক্ত করিনি।
এই গীতাদি
স্যার
কোথায়?
বলুন, আমি
সিদ্ধার্থ দা?
শুনবো।
হ্যাঁ, বলছি
গীতা
গীতাদি
ম্যাডামের তো
কোথায়?
একটু গন্ডগোল হয়ে গেছে, ওনার ওই রাজু বলে কে থাকে,
টেকনিক্যাল প্রবলেম হয়েছে।
কেয়া ম্যাডামে এসেছিলেন, কেয়া হালদার ম্যাডামে এসেছিলেন।
ডক্টর আড্ডি আসেননি? ডক্টর আড্ডি
না উনি আসেননি,
দিয়েছিলেন নাম।
বয়স হয়ে গেছে একটু।
টোটাল কতজন হলো?
স্যার
Total
ওই রকমই,
audience?
হ্যাঁ প্রত্যেকদিনই ওই রকম 65-70 এরকমই অ্যাভারেজ।
আজকে কত হলো?
অরূপ
হ্যাঁ,
আজকে ওরকম আমি লাস্ট 66 দেখেছি। তারপরে
অরূপ কেমন হলো রে?
খুব ভালো হয়েছে। সব থেকে বড় জিনিস যেটা, হ্যাঁ খুব সুন্দর হয়েছে।
সুজয় খুব ভালো বলেছে।
হ্যাঁ খুব ভালো হয়েছে।
সুজয় খুব ভালো বলেছে।
ইনফ্যাক্ট না,
খুব সুন্দর বলেছে।
মেসেজটা গেছে সুন্দর। সার্জারি অ্যাকচুয়ালি ইজ দ্য নট দ্য অনলি ট্রিটমেন্ট।
অরূপ কেমন হলো রে?
হ্যাঁ ভালো হয়েছে সিদ্ধার্থ দা, ভালো হয়েছে। শুনতে পাচ্ছ না? খুব ভালো হয়েছে। একই জায়গাতে আমরা আছি সেটাই জানলাম আর কি। হ্যাঁ ওই জায়গাটাতেই আছি, যে সবাই মিলে জানলাম যে একই জায়গাতে আছি, বিশাল কিছু চেঞ্জ হয়নি।
না না
হ্যাঁ ঘুরে ফিরে একই জায়গায় সবাই আসছে।
চেঞ্জ হবে, ডেফিনেটলি চেঞ্জ হবে, যত দিন যাবে আরো চেঞ্জ আসবে।
না, লার্জ endometrium aspirate, that is the main problem is the ovarian visa. Main problem is the ovarian. Once ovarian is out, you can do nothing.
এক্স্যাক্টলি, সেই ওভারিটাই যদি না থাকে তাহলে ট্রিটমেন্ট কি হবে?
হ্যাঁ ট্রিটমেন্ট।
ট্রিটমেন্টে প্যারাডাইম শিফট হচ্ছে একটা।
হ্যাঁ নিশ্চয়ই। সার্জারির বিকল্প তো খুঁজতে হবে, সেটাই তো।
ভালো হয়েছে, আমাদের জুনিয়ররা সব উঠে আসছে, ভালো ভালো ছেলে উঠে আসছে।
না না খুব ভালো সিদ্ধার্থ দা,
ওয়েল ডান।
না একটা কথা হচ্ছে,
হ্যাঁ বলো।
আমি বলি যে বিজ্ঞান মানে মডার্ন সায়েন্স তখনই যদি হোমিওপ্যাথির মতো, আমি হোমিওপ্যাথিটাকে সায়েন্স এখন বলছি না, কিন্তু হোমিওপ্যাথির যে আইডিয়াটা মডার্ন সায়েন্স যদি নিয়ে করতে এগোতে পারে, ওই জায়গায় পৌঁছতে পারে, রিভার্সাল অফ দা প্রসেস, মানে যা হচ্ছে, যেমন ওই অক্সিডেটিভ স্ট্রেসের ক্ষেত্রে যেমন হচ্ছে, ঠিক রিভার্স অফ দা রিঅ্যাকশন, সেটা যদি করা যায়, সেটাই হচ্ছে আলটিমেট অ্যাচিভমেন্ট। এবং সেটা একমাত্র পারবে মলিকুলার লেভেলের অ্যাচিভমেন্ট, তাছাড়া হবে না। ততদিন আমাদের সার্জারি কিছু কিছু হেল্প করবে।
দেখো
একমাত্র